I did some works on our lights for our neighborhood entrance. I'm on the board for my neighborhood association, and every so often when requests come in like, hey, the lights are not working, I'll go out there and take a look at it. And I found this setup very interesting in how it worked. There is a mechanical timer that controls when the lights can turn on. That mechanical timer is then wired to a photocell. That photocell is then wired to a contactor, and then the contactor is what actually provides power to the lights. Now, initially, just looking at it, I'm like, what in the world do we have going on here? But then after I studied it, I realized that the timer, it is set between 5 p.m. and 12 midnight, and that constrains to when the lights can turn on. The photocell is the timer is wired to the photocell. So if it's still daylight at 6 o'clock, although the timer says the lights can turn on, the photocell will say keep the lights off because it's still daylight outside. And then only once it gets dark enough does then the lights turn on. And that is done from the load side of the photocell to then activate the contactor to switch the lights on. Now, the other aspect of this with using the mechanical timer is that the lights can only stay on for a certain duration. The lights don't run all night. They run till about midnight and then they cut off. And this is more so to conserve energy because usually after midnight, nobody, well, I ain't gonna say nobody, not as many people will be driving up and down the street. And therefore, you don't necessarily need them on. Would it be nice to have them on? Yes, but then you get into, well, if you let them run all night, then they use more electricity and then the association has to pay a higher electric bill, versus if they only run part of the night when the majority of people who are out would see them on, then you're reducing the amount of electricity that you're using and you're extending the life of the bulbs because they're only on for the majority of the time that people would actually see them, instead of running them while majority of people are sleeping.